The next speaker, Alessandro, please come forward. He has been in IT forever, IT security, forensics.
A lot of things.
A lot of things. Please come forward. And we were discussing yesterday about the motivation for his talk, and I love the idea. It's like, and I think we've heard this throughout the day. It's like, sometimes you just need to work with what you have, and sometimes you have a lot, right?
Yes, all started 2 or 3 years ago, when I was an employee in a firm. My colleague said me that he was using Ansible and AWX for software distribution and configuration of Windows, Linux, and Cisco switches. So I asked him to explain me how it works, what can do Ansible and AWX together, and from that start a new idea to use in a different purpose AWX that was used from sysadmin for sysadmin task, for audit and for incident response and digital forensic investigation. So we have developed this scenario, and it works.
Wow, amazing. So nothing better than a real-world
yes.
use case to excite us.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Alessandro.
Thanks so much.
Let's go.
Let's start, because the time is a lot of things to say, but the time is so little. Automation, audit, IT world and companies today are very different from 10 years ago. Too much situation, system on premises, system in cloud, a lot of data on storage, and a situation where we have our user on site, on branch office, and on remote connection. It's a complex scenario for digital investigation today. And how can approach a digital investigation in a scenario as complex as we are? We have deployed this in a situation where we have 100 virtual machines on VMware and 1,000 virtual machines on VMware and 500 users. We can do with some commercial platform like SentinelOne and CrowdStrike, but we can do with the open automation solution. Terraform is one of that, but Terraform is focused on cloud, not on solution on premises. AWX and Ansible could work with Unix, Windows, cloud, IoT, OT. You need to have a shell, a PowerShell or a Bash. It's OK. You can do. So why commercial tools have a problem? They need usually an agent. An agent not always available for all operative systems. If you have a OpenBSD or FreeBSD, usually you don't have an agent for it. You must develop all the agents on all systems, and this is very hard to do. And when you have developed the agent on all systems, you have to take it updated. Otherwise, the risk becoming of entry point of an attack. Agent consumes resources, CPU, memory, disk space. And there is another point important, because each agent has a fee, an annual fee to pay, and the platform that handles the agent had to pay another fee. So handling a commercial solution costs a lot. Open source. Using an open source based on AWX and Ansible is not based on agent. And this is very good for the point I've stated before. Is ready to use. Simply activate your virtual machine that you have prepared before, and you need the system and the user admin. You can go. Take a look at what is Ansible AWX. Ansible is an open source tool for IT automation. that allow you to automate the provisioning, the configuration, and the deployment of the system and application. It is normally used at the system level to install software, automate daily tasks, provision infrastructure, improve security and compliance level, and apply patches on the system. AWX is the web interface of Ansible. So together, they can do a great work. AWX and Ansible architecture. In simple words, there is the part of the user that is the administrator of the platform, and there is the man that writes the playbook, the scripts for Ansible. The playbook defines a task for the automation process that will be performed. The task will be performed in order in which they are listed. Playbooks are written in YAML. Inventory is the list of the target system. If you have the list of the target system, you have the playbook, you can deploy with the job, selecting the target system and the playbook to deploy. System requirements of Ansible and AWX. The system requirements depends a lot on what level of parallelism do you want. If you have to do an auditing, you don't need a high level of parallelism. So you can use less resource. But if you are an incident, you need to have a high level of parallelism to be as fast as you can. So you need as CPU as you can, as memory as you can, and a lot of storage to store the evidence. Playbook. What you can do from a sysadmin point of view, what you can do in console, you can do with script. You can connect to 10 hosts and run a script. This is the usual type of work of a sysadmin. If you have a script, you can translate it into a playbook. Playbook is only a script. In a few words, is a script. Complex, not easy, but it's a script. So you can run a script, build a script that can be run from the control machine of AWX or the control machine to 110,000 hosts, as you can do it from your hand. It's written in YAML, and it describes what to done on one or more hosts. It contains the set of hosts, the variables, and the task. It uses module to install packages, copy file, and run other scripts. It executed from controller and AWX, from controller via command line, as all the sysadmin do. But you can do also via AWX, that is a web GUI. Example of a playbook. Here is an example that I cannot open here because we have no time, but you can find it on the site of SANS because it will be published. Through the playbook, you can install software, delete a copy, execute a bash PowerShell command, select and collect outputs. You can do all you can do on console or on a bash console with your hand. A playbook can be executed interactively on the target system. This is good because when you are training, you are building your playbook, you have to test it, and the interactive is the way to build it in the correct way, or become a part of a job applied to asset inventory. You can do is okay, is tested, you can use it. Asset inventory, what is it? Is a list. It's a file containing the IP address of the target system, as well as administrative username and password. Usually that comes from sysadmin business unit. They know systems, username, and password. But that comes also from CMDB or other platform. Administrative users, the best way should be to have one technical user deployed on all systems via identity access management. You can say that having a file with username and password in clear text could be the problem, a security problem, right? Is a security problem. So, asset inventory, to avoid the password in plain text, Ansible Vault is available. It encrypts the password, so there is no problem about security and of the password and the users. AWX is a Red Hat automation platform project that provides the web user interface of the Ansible. It's a centralized orchestration instrument. It can handle the credential with role-based management access, so you can have a staff that can see all the platform have, or you can have a view on a single part that a team can see. It's very important that logging and auditing. AWX keeps track of execution, who initiated them, and with what result. It could be integrated with the external system, like ServiceNow, Jira, and the DevOps systems. In summary, we can say that Ansible is the engine. AWX is the control center plane for managing Ansible in a secure, multi-user, and scalable way. For audit and investigation, AWX user interface allows you to schedule and manage verification action. For incident response, in my point of view, the command line interface is better. There is something in the community about AWX and Ansible in the DFIR. Not a lot, but something is present. So you can take a look to this URL. In an enterprise scenario, we have one data center, two data centers, a primary, a secondary, branch office, headquarters, users in a remote connection, and Ansible and the AWX allow you to develop a series of specific customized activities that can potentially be applied to all systems to perform forensic investigation, incident management, and audit. What Ansible and AWX are currently lacking is a dashboard of the result of the control developed. So the dashboard could be is present, but is not so easy. Could be implemented with Power BI, creating the appropriate connector with the data returned by the playbooks. You could have a great dashboard. With AWX and Ansible, we can automate audits and compliance check, automate data collection and search for digital forensic investigation, support incident response with DFIR automation. Start from audit. During audit of standards such as PCI DSS, ISO, NIST, and ORA, auditor increasingly need to document the result of their checks, including from the point of view of the process followed, in order to guarantee the accuracy and the authenticity of the output data included in the audit evidence. Digital forensic process and tools, by their very nature, provide this type of assurance. AWX plus Ansible can become the automation engine for audit and compliance, because they allow you to perform semantic and repeatable checks on the system, application, and infrastructure. enforcing security policy and configuration, benchmarking infrastructure against certification reference standard, doing an audit on the control plan according to the adopted standard, gap analysis, remediation, and post-remediation certification of audit with respect to data compliance. Here are a list of possible audits that and the compliance check that have been easily implemented using Ansible AWX. For example, we can check the OTD is enabled and running. We can check the policy password. We can check the TLS certification expire check, vulnerable packages. All is a control system in the compliance. I think today the ISO, but it's the same for the other. All you want to check, you can write a playbook that go on the server, on the target system, and check this. Ansible lockdown rules are Ansible rules that apply to verify security benchmarked with CIS on Linux and Windows system. This is very important because they are developed and maintained by the Ansible lockdown community on GitHub. They cover various platforms, not only Linux as one can think, but Linux, database, and containers. They enable the hardening of the system to be automated and repeatable and documented manner. They offer remediation. Each rule is mapped on an official security benchmark, and they support configurable parameters. The procedure, compliance, reports that can be used as evidence in ISO, NIS2, and DORA audits. They can be integrated in AWX automation controller to schedule periodic checks. They enable implementation of what is said as compliance as a code. This is a little example of what we can do for this kind of checks on Ubuntu 22 cheese. It's very easy. Doing an audit, AWX help managing the various steps of the audit plan using the user interface of AWX. We can schedule, verify the controls starting from the pre-remediation, remediation, post-remediation, and a summary. You follow all the steps. And for what is audit people that usually are not technician as a sysadmin, having a console that can schedule and manage all these steps is very useful. Digital forensic investigation with Ansible AWX. Ansible and AWX can powerfully analyze in enterprise digital forensic investigation. They allow to automate the automation of evidence collection across the hundreds of systems simultaneously, ensuring consistency and reliability. Logs, procedure, memory dumps, registry, and configuration file can be acquired automatically and preserved centrally. Every forensic acquisition should include the calculation of the hashes and a playbook standardized text, while AWX provides an audit trace of every executed action, supporting accountability. For GDPR, as like other compliance, accountability is very important. Investigator can also deploy forensic tools at scale without manual intervention. Evidence is gathered securely in a single point, simplifying access and review. Integration with SOC and CM works enable rapid with traceable response when suspicious activity is detected. Ultimately, this approach enables forensic as a code, combining the automation with compliance and legal defensibility. This is a list of some possible investigation with Ansible and AWX. You can do a system log collection. You can do a collection of running process on one server or a subset of server. You can do a network forensic activity, collect Windows registry. Usually, you deploy a playbook and you apply this on the asset inventory you choose. Using DFIR with Ansible and AWX is a little different, but it's the same approach. For DFIR, you need to do some checks. You need to collect some evidence. Then you write the playbook. You need to do that. Or critical log collection and extraction. Bulk IUC collection, you write that and you run that on your asset inventory. Some of that are present on the GitHub repository of the community you have seen before. Ansible AWX and real case scenario. Try to understand what we can do in the real case. For legal case, we have received a cases and desist letter from a law firm for illegal use of a CAD software license on a company computer. In addition to the name of the software, we have had the date of the use of the software, host name, logged user MAC address, and other data. Objective, verify the presence of offending acceptable on the indicated assets. If found, carry out similar search on all assets and collect evidence to support the report complying with the chain of custody procedure. If we find one evidence that this software has been installed and used, we have to find if there is another installation in our system. If no longer present, start carving and constructing timeline to track any past occurrences. We can do with 3 playbooks. The first one is easy. That is a playbook that access to the PC server indicated by the host name to extract the software installed on the PC, collect the data, and save it into the investigation repository. The second playbook that is run only after identify the package on the computer. If I find the package on the computer, so I have to check the other system, access all the workstation, extract the list of the software installed on the personal computer, and search for incriminating packages. Save the evidence to the investigation repository. Third playbook that can be run is a playbook that do the carving and timeline reconstruction, extraction of the $MFT, West Journal, and timeline reconstruction with Plazo or log2 timeline. Is the way you can find easily on the system indicated by the letter, but you can check on all system, on all desktop, laptop you have in your corporate. Some possible audit policy violation. This is another check we can do. We can check for search for local unauthorized user, possibly with administrative rights. What does that mean? Playbook must implement to all workstation, extract local admin groups member, and exclude target one. If there is a trusted one, if there is one or more local user with administrative rights, saving data to the investigation repository. This is done with internal command of playbook. That the syntax can be do. Get local group member. If it fails, use net local group administrator as a fallback. Normalize the output in the list. raw admin list, remove the account in trusted admins, producing non-trusted admins, save as a JSON on the computer, calculate the hash, and set the DFIR admin result in the summary. We can do for all the system. Happen, not so often, but happen that one sysadmin create a local user with administrative rights. This is a problem of security, and finding that is very important. Another audit is a search for file containing unprotected sensitivity data on workstation. Playbook search for string or pattern can identify, for example, SSN, Italian tax code, identity document, and credit card, evidence collection, saving to investigation repository, email to the DPO for GDPR. For incident response, the approach could be this one. This happened before, after a bit, we implemented this. A Tomcat server was breached, allowing a zip and the jar files to be uploaded, and the jar file was deployed on that Tomcat. Objective was starting from the file, the name of the zip and the jar file, and their hash value. We want to check that no other server have been affected. As the application server was installed usually on /opt, we do a playbook that get file name and hash as an input, search for file name in /opt, calculate hash of /opt files, search for hash in list. These for all server we have installed Tomcat, because it could be more than one compromised. Ending. If you are a consultant in a medium-sized company with a complex hybrid infrastructure, we are on premises, cloud, remote office, remote laptops, calls you and asks you immediately start an investigation and collect evidence after a suspected incident, or to conduct a digital investigation, a view of litigation, or simply to prepare an IT audit plan for compliance purposes, Ansible and AWX can help you, in my experience. The solution is to deploy your pre-configured server or VM with Ansible and AWX, and with the collection of your playbook. You have a subset of playbook that works for audit, another one for digital forensic, another one for incident response. You take that on your virtual machine that you create. You can arrive on the site and be ready to use in the environment. You connect your virtual machine, you deploy your virtual machine in their environment, and you are ready. Run investigation without agent, only credential. You need to have IP address and credential for asset inventory. Then you can do all you need, because you can scale the hundreds of servers and endpoints across multiple environments. If your audit, if your investigation is on-premise or on cloud, is the same. Is not different in this way. If your users are inside in the office or are remote, is the same. There is a QDN that get the IP address and go back, also on remote connection. So AWX have a high capabilities. Recon and access, acquire asset inventory, host, pure admin credential, triage, identify suspicious system using SOC alerts, IOC, evidence collection, logs, process, registry, keys, config, memory dumps, centralization and hashing, secure storage with automatic hashing and audit logs, analysis and over, deliver evidence to forensic analysts. Benefits from the using of this instrument. Immediate start, no deployment delays. You don't have to deploy agent and the platform. If you have the asset inventory with the username and password of admin user, you are right. Portable, physical server or cloud VM. Scalable, collect evidence from hundreds of systems in hours. Integrity and chain of custody. Hashing, logging, audit trails. Reduce the impact, no intrusive agent required. Service offering DFIR Mobile Unit as a structured enterprise service. With value proposition, with Ansible and AWX forensic triage and evidence collection become industrialized, repeatable, and defensible. The mobile DFIR unit enables organizations to respond faster, reduce cost, a straightness of legal defensibility of investigation. Yes, have been the time to 30 seconds. We are okay. That's all. I'm sorry to be so fast, but there are a lot of things to say. If you have a question, I'll be out. So, oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks.